All right, shalom, 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 shalom. First, want to give honors, go space to do to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Kakadash. Double honors, Pasanel. This is a great millstone. Piece of Akim that's doing this work on the four corners of earth. This is a flood that happened out in Hong Kong. All right, but they had a real big storm and they had a big flood over there. And I'm gonna show this video, and we'll get to some scriptures.
We start with the urgent updates from China, where authorities have mobilized significant resources to address the catastrophic flooding caused by Typhoon Ragasa. The Chinese Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Emergency Management have allocated roughly $21 million in Central Natural Disaster Relief Fund to support rescue and relief efforts in the hardest hit provinces of Guangdong. These funds will help the relocation of affected residents, eliminate hazard, and inspect risk of secondary disaster and support emergency repairs to critical infrastructure. In addition, the National Development Reform Commission has earmarked 200 million yuan from the central budget to aid emergency restoration in Guangdong. The funds will target repair of damaged road, bridges and water conservancy projects, schools and hospitals, aiming to restore normalcy to affected areas as quickly as possible. Typhoon Ragasa, the 18th named storm of the 2025 Pacific typhoon season, made landfall in several regions of mainland China with wind reaching 40 meters per second.
It completely gutted right throughout. Yeah, the whole bottom floor. I'm more than happy to look, but it completely demolished. All the park trees come up as well. It's gone all the way through to the kitchen, so it's a complete mess, I guess. We took everything out. We put up everything against the windows, barricaded it, but I think with Mother Nature calls, there's not much you can do. The pressure of the waves that came right over the wall and directly into the restaurant. You know, all the restaurants were affected exactly the same. There's not much you could do.
The storm's impact have been severe, with over 1.89 million residents relocated across Guangdong alone. Meteorological authorities reported the Ragasa is moving westward approximately 20 kilometers per hour and is expected to weaken gradually. The devastation extends beyond mainland China. In Taiwan, Super Typhoon Ragasa has claimed 17 lives in eastern town of Guangfu in Hualien. The deaths were caused by flooding triggered when a barrier lake formed by lakeside from earlier heavy rain busted and sent a wall of water into the town, destroying a major road bridge. Initially, 152 people were reported missing, but that number has been revised down to 17 as many were found alive. Taiwan's premier has called for an inquiry into why evacuation orders were not effectively carried out, highlighting failure in the island's usually robust disaster response system. In Guangfu, ongoing heavy rains promoted new flood warnings on Wednesday, sending residents scrambling to emergency shelters. One resident, identified only as Tasai, said, "It is too dangerous. We won't return until the flood risks are subsidized."
Because of global warming, you will have more moisture in the atmosphere, and water temperature is also high, and therefore you would expect to have once the storm develops, it has more energy. And so you can expect the storm to become even more intense in the future. So you should expect to have more super typhoons, not only to hit the South China coast, but maybe even other parts of Asia.
While authorities in Taiwan do not expect a repeat of Tuesday's mass flooding, situation remains tense as rescue efforts continue. This is a developing story. We'll bring you updates on this. Till then, keep watching Money Control.
that'll be enough on that. So we'll go ahead and get to some scriptures. So yeah, let me go ahead and do this. All right. Isaiah chapter 28 verses 2. Behold, the Lord Yahweh had a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hell and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hand. And let me go to the next one here. Isaiah 29 verses 6. That shall be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. Okay, so yeah. Grab this one. And the Lord Yahweh shall cast his aggressive this voice to be heard, and shall set the lightning down on his arm with the indigenous of his anger, and with his flame of devouring fire, with scattering and tempest and hailstones. So yeah, hey, gotta let the Lord do his thing, Hey, you gotta let Yahweh Bashim Yahshua do his thing. And that's what he's doing, Matter of fact, let me grab something. Slack you for that. Matter of fact, let me show you this one.
You deserve the best. At Harbor Freight, you can afford it.
Slack you for the commercial.
We design our...
The fiercest storm of the year unleashed its wrath on South China and Hong Kong. Typhoon Ragasa bringing relentless winds, devastating floods, and deadly landslides. As millions face the storm's fury, entire communities have been submerged, shattered, and fighting for survival. Typhoon Ragasa, the most powerful tropical cyclone of the year, tore through southern China, leaving destruction in its wake. Hong Kong faced ferocious winds and surging floodwaters that broke hotels and swept into city streets, forcing emergency shutdowns and widespread evacuations. A massive landslide ripped open a city street, swallowing vehicles and creating a dangerous chasm, while Taiwan's Guangfu Township prepared for fresh deluges, with residents rushing to safety as sirens bled.
Most of the typhoons, when they develop in the Western Pacific, then they move towards the west, and the typhoon can continue to develop if it doesn't get impeded by land or by other dry air and so on. So this time, Ragasa developed in the Western Pacific and then moved through the Luzon Strait over very warm waters and under favorable atmospheric conditions. And so therefore it gets unimpeded as it goes through the Luzon Strait and go right straight into the South China Sea. And because of that, it can continue to develop and therefore became the strongest typhoon this year to hit China.
China's marine authorities issued the highest red wave warning, forecasting storm surges up to 9 feet in the populous Pearl River Delta. Authorities are facing against time to protect millions.
Now there's almost no wind. Mangkhut in 2018 was much stronger. I could feel the difference, but now I feel like everything is as usual.
Businesses suffered heavy losses as floodwaters swept through markets and homes. In Shenzhen, cleanup efforts have begun, but damage is extensive.
The government told us to evacuate vertically, just to stay on the second or the third floor for those of us who were not directly in the path of the water.
Typhoon Ragasa's fury is a stark reminder of nature's power. As floodwaters recede and skies begin to clear, the true cost of Ragasa's destruction comes into focus. Homes lost, lives upended, and a long road to recovery ahead. But in the face of nature's fury, resilience shines the brightest.
I'm gonna let that be it. So with that, I'm gonna give honors go his praise due to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem Kangadash, double honors Pastor this great millstone, peace to Akim, that's doing this work on the four corners of earth. Shalom.